Yeah, good morning, Justin. If we can just start with some nuts and bolts stuff. Injuries, can you update us on the status of Cade Uluwave, Ryan McCullough, TJ Session, Corey Dyches, the two receivers, Merriweather and Grays, and also just if you can confirm that Jaden Ott and Vadakani came out of the Oregon State game no worse for wear.
Yeah, we can confirm that Jaden and Siowape came out healthy the Oregon State game, which is great news. Cade's getting better every day and was able to do some things this week. Corey Dyches, same thing, has showed improvement and is practicing. TJ Session is back full go, as is Ryan McCullough. And the two receivers have made progress. And again, they're kind of week to week at this point, but both have showed progress through the bye weekend this week.
But in terms of Uluwave, Session, Dyches, and McCullough, you're expecting all of them to play?
Correct.
All right, thank you.
All right, I'm going to Steve Croner, SF Chronicle.
Good morning, Justin. Steve Kerr has kind of used the phrase gravity with Stephen Curry, that, the floor gets tilted towards his side so guys get open shots. Jaden Ott did not have great running stats against Oregon State, but you guys got nearly a sense of Stephen Curry gravity with Jaden Ott.
I have not heard that term before. Curry's gravity seems to make that basket bigger because he doesn't miss. But I understand the question. I understand, what Coach Kerr is talking about. I thought the Oregon State game, the offense as a whole performed much better. I didn't see Oregon State doing a whole lot different than what they had put on tape in terms of they were a cover four, a quarters team. They ran man free, a little bit of fire zone, and some kind of third down walk up stuff. So they did not change a whole lot, Steve, based on what we had seen. I think anytime you're at full strength and you got the best players on the field, well, then you could be more complimentary. The run game, the pass game, the protections, the down and distances, everything seems to get better when you have your best players available. How did it impact that game? I don't know. Like I said, I don't know that they changed a whole lot. But obviously we want Jaden back and everybody else, the receivers and the linemen and the DBs and the Cade, because the more players we have back, the better chance we have to play well.
All right, Jay Curtis, Cal Bears on this side.
Through 8 games, Justin, what would you say are the team's strengths, and what are the things that you would hope that would be a little better?
Yeah, you broke up on me a little bit, Jake. I think you said through 8 games, what are the strengths of the team, and what are the things that need to get better?
That's correct.
Yep. I think let's start with special teams. I think our kickoff unit has been pretty dang good. I think our punt team has been pretty dang good. We need to get better in our field goal and punt return game. And there's, small things involved with all that. Offensively, I think we've been efficient in the pass game. The things that have hurt us offensively are big picture or red zone touchdowns. We need to score more in the red zone. Being more consistent with our run game, I think, is going to be a big part of it. And the negative plays, the sacks and or pre-snap penalties have been costly at times to us on offense. But like I said, I think they've been much more efficient. The Oregon State game was by far our most efficient game offensively, although we still want to score touchdowns in the red zone. Defensively, I think the defense has played pretty well. We've had 2 bad quarters, one in the fourth against Miami and then a fourth quarter against NC State. Otherwise, have been playing winning football. And I think there's some guys that are performing at a high level over there. And, I've been impressed with the guys who have been called to duty, with some guys that maybe went down or injured. I just feel like those guys are competing really hard. And when we play, really focused and with great technique, I think those guys are doing a good job. Overall, the team is, the turnover margin has been a real positive for us. But what we need to do is take that turnover margin and use that to our advantage to win those close games. So that would be kind of the big picture after 8 games.
All right, back to Jeff Verado.
Justin, could you evaluate the progress that Mendoza has made this season, and in particular, in terms of ball security and his accuracy?
I think those are the top 2 things. Jeff, you're on it. I mean, efficiency and accuracy with the ball, and protecting the football and not giving it away. I think areas where we can improve and Fernando can improve are, knowing when to, whether it's a protection or get rid of the ball and not taking a sack, and then also put red zone touchdowns, helping us put the ball in the end zone in those 1-minute drives. We've been in a number of 1-minute drives into half, into game, and we can do a better job there.
Do you still have any concerns about, he doesn't seem to always slide still. He seems to put himself in harm's way now and then.
Yeah, I'm trying to find different ways to phrase that. We've talked at length about that, and knowing when is the time to make a real competitive play. It's a 3rd or 4th down late in the game, got to have it, and then when the time is to take slide and get what you can get, or even just go head first, but not needing to take the extra hit. And so I'm going to start, maybe I'll draw pictures. I might use different languages. He's a real smart guy. I'm sure he's bilingual, so maybe I'll try that. It's just, I know what we all appreciate about Fernando, it's not really in his DNA to be a slider. And so we can all appreciate that and love that about him, but I do think that's an area where he doesn't need to take the extra hits.
And last thing about him is, last year, not only did he throw some interceptions, but he fumbled the ball some. And he's been hit a lot this year, sacked and on the run. Hasn't fumbled the ball, I don't think, at all. Just how has he managed to improve that area?
That's a big emphasis for us in the offseason with Fernando. Sterling Gilbert has done a great job with him, just with his technique in the pocket, getting 2 hands on the ball. And I think he's done a much better job of that, because he did last year. The ball was on the ground a lot, had some interceptions, ball was on the ground. He was also a freshman quarterback, and so he learned from that, which is what you want to see. And Sterling has done a really good job with him.
Are you impressed by how much he's improved this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think
the guy was involved in a quarterback competition throughout fall camp.
Sure, and anytime you have competition, it's going to bring out the best in everybody. And he is a competitive guy, and I'm proud of him, just like I'm proud of a lot of the guys on the team for what they've done to make themselves better. He is certainly committed to football. It's very important to him. He wants to be good, and he has certainly made strides from where he was a year ago. And he's still a pretty young player. I mean, he's still just a 2nd year of eligibility and playing, and so he's going to continue to get better.
Thank you.
Cody Henderson, league winners.
Yeah, hey, Coach. We've seen very little of Jamal Wiley this season, but he was able to punch one in on a short yardage situation against Oregon State. Do you anticipate him getting the ball a little bit more going down the final stretch of the 4 games that you guys have left, and possibly carving himself out a role in those short yardage situations?
Yeah, that's possible, Cody. He has, when he first got here, I think, there's a big adjustment just with the pace of the game. The shape you have to be in to play at this level, and he's really worked at that. So he's shown improvement there. He is a big guy. He's strong. He can break a tackle. We had some issues earlier in the season with some short yardage, not getting those short yardage downs. So that was an area we felt like he could help us. And that doesn't mean he just can only be a short yardage back. We want him to be an all-around back. And it's certainly possible that he could earn more reps in the games if he continues to practice like he's practicing and understand what we're trying to do and be really good in the checks and protections, and because he does have some abilities. So we'd like to see his role continue to grow, but he's got to earn that.
Thanks, Coach.
And Jay Curtis.
Justin, are you going to take 2 place kickers to Wake Forest?
Yes.
And if you have a 52-yarder to win a game, who would be the guy?
You're right on the edge of it right there, Jake, to be honest with you. And so both those guys have the ability. we do like, Ryan's got a bigger leg, okay, and that doesn't mean that he could obviously, Ryan's shown the ability to make shorter ones. But I think, where we're at right now, and kind of the performance against Oregon State, we'll keep it as is with Derek and up to a certain point. And once it gets deeper, that Ryan might give us a better chance there.
What if it's 53 yards?
What's the wind, Jake? Is it natural grass? I mean, is it wet out? What's our humidity? Believe me, the kicking folks, they know all that stuff. And pregame, I'll talk to them. During the game, I talk to them. Conditions do matter. So yeah, there's a lot of context there, but kind of that, once it gets deeper, Ryan would be our guy. And that's how we're moving forward right now.
All right, back to Steve.
Okay, Justin, what distinguishes Wake Forest's offense in general and Bachmeier in particular?
Yeah, they've done a good job. They're scoring points. Hank Bachmeier has been around for a while. He's played a lot of football. We recruited him in high school, so I feel like we've been around or recruited a Bachmeier for about the last 8 years. Hank's done a good job. He makes good decisions. He's played a lot of football. He's a good athlete. He's strong. He's courageous. So you see, he's been successful in college for a long time. They do a really good job offensively. Their OC has been there for a long time. They've been very efficient. They got some, they'll have some plays that you've seen before, and then they have some schemes that are a little unique to them, with some of the slow mesh stuff, which is a different style than we've seen, kind of a different schematic. So they do a good job with that. The running back's a very good player, really, really good player. He's hard to tackle. He gets a lot of yards after people touch him. And so he's good. The O-line is strong. Their receivers, they got a tall guy. Their other receiver, number 2, is also a punt returner, is very good. So they just do a really good job. They're well coached. They know what they're doing. Hank is a good quarterback. The running back's good. So it'll be a challenge for our defense.
Follow up, you mentioned the slow mesh. And those of us who have a decent understanding of it, but clearly don't have a great understanding of it, what does it do to the defense that a not so slow mesh doesn't?
Well, they have more time to make a decision. And so they force the defense. It's option game in a lot of respects, just because they put the ball in the belly of the back and they'll ride that thing for seconds, it seemed like, and they'll work towards the line of scrimmage. The O-line is coached really well in terms of how they react to the defense. And the quarterback and the running back are all on the same page, but it takes longer. So they have a longer time to put the defense in stress, as opposed to maybe a quick zone read, which happens rather quickly. And so it is unique. It's different. And they've been doing it for a while, and they've done a very good job with it. You see people have taken it from them and have tried to implement it, but they do it the best.
Thank you.
All right, Jeff Rotto.
Justin, David Reese finished last season so strong, was really good for you, and then he got hurt. And I'm just wondering, how is he doing these days? And is he still not the player that he would be if he hadn't gotten hurt?
David is back at practice. He had great practice today, was noticeable out there. Yeah, it's unfortunate, the injury thing with David. He's been through that before, here and before he got here. So it's great to see him back out there. He has got ability. He can rush the quarterback, and we need him. We need him big time. And so I'm looking forward to him returning to form. I think he's right on the edge of that. I think he's ready for that. And I know that's what he wants to put out there as well. I'm sure it's frustrating for a guy like that's been through those. But if anybody can handle it and bounce back from an injury, it's David Reese.
Just quick follow-up and more of a big picture question. I know every game is important, but you're 4-4. You finally got over the 4-game losing streak. You played your best game probably 2 weeks ago. How critical is Friday night for you guys?
Well, I mean, extremely. I mean, we only have so many opportunities. Wake is a good team. It's going to be a challenging environment. We're going on the road, and I have a lot of faith in our team and how they've responded to a tough October. And So I'm really pleased with how they came back, you know, the Oregon State week and then last week in the bye week with really good energy. And it's important to us to play our best football now in November, our best game each and every week. And I've seen that intensity at practice, and I know they want to do that, and they're focused on it. So it's one thing to say it, but we got to go out and do it. And this is the next opportunity we got against a really good football team, and it'll take our best game to win.
All right, thanks.
Last question for Steve.
Justin, some numbers that are obvious. You guys have lost 4 games by a total of 9 points, and Wake Forest its last 3 wins have been by a combination of 10 points. So if you get into the fourth quarter and it's a 1-score game one way or the other, how do you fight the, oh no, it's happening again, to this is the game that we're going to turn the tide in that?
Yeah, I think it's focusing on doing your job and not on the results. You know, somebody said it way back when, you know, quit worrying about winning and just act like a winner and focus on doing your job and playing great football, and the results will be what they are. But once you start concerning yourself with, you know, what could happen, what might happen, what's happened in the past, what could happen in the future, then you're not focused on the next play and playing that play the best of your ability, because that is really what is going to determine the outcome, not the past, not what might happen. It's literally what are you doing on the very next play. So it's focusing, you know, what's right in front of you, and playing with technique, playing with great effort, and all the fundamentals and things that we talk about, so we can execute at a high level and play great football. That's the goal.